Good morning. How are you all today? Thank you for viewing with us and us having Bible study today. So, welcome to Bible class with Andre and Betty. We're continuing our studies from the book of 1 Kings, and we'll be looking at Solomon brings idolatry into the nation Israel. And we see that it's because he had fallen into idolatry with his wives and concubines. So we're in chapter 11, and verse 1 says, "And King Solomon loved many strange women or foreign women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites." This is key in verse 2. "Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, You shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they, the women, the wives and concubines, for surely they will turn away your heart after other gods. Solomon clave unto these women in love." Verse 3, "And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines. And his wives turned away his heart," that is, away from the Lord. Verse 4, For it came to pass, when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father. Then did Solomon build an high place for Shemash, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon." Verse 8, "And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods." So each nation had their own god or gods to worship, other than worshiping Jehovah. And these nations that Solomon fell in love with, God had told them when they get into the land not to intermarry with foreign women, and especially the 7 nations that God drove out of Canaan land and Israel moved in. And so we'll see the kingdom divided in heart through Solomon, but Solomon will reign for 40 years, and then he dies, and it's through his son Rehoboam that the division will take place. And so the Lord was very angry with Solomon because his heart was turned from the Lord God of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice. Verse 10, "And God had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods, but he kept not that which the Lord commanded." Verse 11, "Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, Forasmuch as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes which I commanded thee, I will surely rend or tear the kingdom from thee, and I will give it, the kingdom, to thy servant. Verse 12. Notwithstanding, in thy days, God says to Solomon, I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son. Howbeit, God says, I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to thy son for David my servant's sake, for Jerusalem's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen. And then the Lord began to act in verse 14. And the Lord stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad the Edomite. He was of the king's seed in Edom. Verse 15, for it came to pass, when David was in Edom, and Joab the captain of the hosts was gone up to bury the slain, after he had smitten every male in Edom, that Hadad, verse 17, that Hadad fled, he and certain Edomites of his father's servants with him, to go into Egypt. Hadad being yet a little child, verse 18, and they arose out of Midian and came to Paran, and they took men with them out of Paran, and they came to Egypt unto Pharaoh, king of Egypt, which gave him an house, gave Hadad a house, and appointed him victuals, and gave him land. Verse 19, and Hadad found favor, great favor in the sight of Pharaoh, so that he gave him to wife the sister of his own wife, the sister of Tahpenes the queen, that is the queen of Pharaoh, the wife of Pharaoh. Now you'll see many pharaohs in the Bible, but that's a title like president. It's an office they held, so all these were called pharaohs. And he gave to Hadad his sisters, his wife's sisters, his sister of his own wife, or his sister-in-law. Verse 20. And the sister of Tahpenes bare him Gedabath, his son, whom Tahpenes weaned in Pharaoh's house. And Gedabath was in Pharaoh's household among the sons of Pharaoh. So he was the son of Pharaoh's wives. And verse 21, and when Hadad heard in Egypt that David slept with his father, and that Joab the captain of the host was dead, Hadad said to Pharaoh, let me depart, that I may go to mine own country. Verse 22, then Pharaoh said unto him, but what hast thou lacked with me, that behold, thou seekest to go to thine own country? And he answered, nothing. Howbeit, let me go in anywise. Verse 23. And God stirred up him another adversary, Rezon, the son of Eliada, which fled from his lord, Hadarezer, king of Zobah, and that's king of Syria. Verse 24, and he gathered men unto him, and became captain over a band, when David slew them in Zobah. And they went to Damascus and dwelt therein, and reigned in Damascus, and this is the capital city of Syria. Verse 25. And he was an adversary to Israel all the days of Solomon, beside the mischief that Hadad did, and he abhorred Israel and reigned over Syria. Verse 26. And Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, an Ephrathite of Zerida, Solomon's servant, whose mother's name was Zeruiah, a widow woman, even he lifted up his hand against the king. Now Jeroboam will be the king of the northern kingdom, and Solomon's descendants will be kings of the southern kingdom, and that'll be explained in the following verses. So verse 27 says, and this was the cause that he lifted up his hand, that is Jeroboam, against the king. Solomon built Millo and repaired the breaches of the city of David his father. And the man Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor. And Solomon, seeing the young man that he was industrious, he made him ruler over all the charge of the house of Joseph, which would be the northern kingdom. 29. And it came to pass at that time, when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem, that the prophet Ahijah the Shilonite found him in the way, and he had clad himself with a new garment, and they two were alone in the field. Verse 30. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him, that is on Jeroboam, and tore it in 12 pieces. Verse 31. And he said to Jeroboam, take these 10 pieces, for thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, behold, I will tear the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee. And that's the northern kingdom. Verse 32. But he shall leave one tribe first for my servant David's sake, for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel. Verse 33. Because that they have forsaken me and have worshipped Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, Shemash, the god of the Moabites, and Milcom, the god of the children of Ammon, and have not walked in my ways, to do that which is right in mine eyes, and to keep my statutes and judgments, as did David his father. So this is why God would tear the kingdom and they would be divided. Verse 34. Howbeit, I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him prince all the days of his life, that is Solomon, for David, my servant's sake, whom I chose, because he kept my commandments and my statutes. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hand, and will give it unto thee, even 10 tribes. Verse 36, and unto his son will I give one tribe, that David my servant may have a light always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen me to put my name there. Verse 37, and I will take thee, and thou shalt reign, that is Jeroboam. I will take thee, and thou shalt reign according to all thy soul desireth, and shalt be king over Israel, that is the 10 tribes. Verse 38. And it shall be, if thou wilt hearken unto all that I command thee, and will walk in my ways and do that is right in my sight, to keep my statutes and my commandments, as David my servant did, that I will be with thee and build thee a sure house, as I built for David, and will give Israel unto thee. So this is a petition to Jeroboam to follow the Lord, but he failed completely, and all the kings from that 10-tribe nation failed to do, they all did evil in the sight of the Lord. Verse 39, and I will for this afflict the seed of David, but not forever. Verse 40, Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam. And Jeroboam arose and fled into Egypt unto Shishak, king of Egypt, and was in Egypt until the death of Solomon. And the rest of the acts of Solomon and all that he did and his wisdom, are they not written in the book of the acts of Solomon? Verse 42, and the time that Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel was 40 years. And Solomon slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David, his father, and Rehoboam, his son, reigned in his stead. And the next chapter will begin to explain that. So hopefully this was interesting to you or help you in some way, but we thank you for viewing with us and participating through Facebook and YouTube. So you all have a great day. We'll see you next time and have a great week. Bye.